Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It's our travel unit for the month of June, and today we're going to go to someplace in South America here. We might be going to Argentina, we might be going to Buenos Aires, Argentina, or Brazil, or wherever. But actually, we're going to Bolivia. Maybe you've heard of Bolivia before. The capital city is La Paz. But today, we're actually going to someplace that's really kind of far away. It's out in the boondocks. It's in the sticks. It's really far away, and it's really flat, and there are hardly any people there. Why would anyone want to go to a place like that?
It's kind of interesting. I looked this up, and it's looks like a big salt flat. I've seen salt flats. In Utah, they have a big salt flat where they do a lot of racing. But yeah, Bolivia in general looks like a really cute place. They make some beautiful fabric, and they have these cute hats, I've noticed, but I've never been there before.
I haven't either, but yes, like you said, we are going to this salt plain there called Salar de Uyuni, and it's, again, a really high place. It's at a high elevation, and it's a salt flat there, so it's kind of interesting to go check it out. And also, it has some very valuable minerals there that they're selling to the world to power your laptop computer, probably your smartphone as well, so we'll talk about that as our lesson continues. So let's introduce you to Salar de Uyuni and experience the heavenly desolation there. So let's get to it, everybody. Let's read the entire contents of today's lesson, and then we'll come back to discuss it. You shield your eyes against the sun's glare as you step out of your Jeep, and a soft crunch from under your boots confirms that you've arrived at your destination. As you let your eyes adjust, a seemingly infinite white canvas stretches out in front of you. At a glance, you might even mistake this landscape for the Arctic tundra. You'd be forgiven for doing so. The barren beauty of Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia, would look out of place anywhere else. Covering some 10,582 square kilometers, Salar de Uyuni is the world's largest salt flat. And at 3,656 meters above sea level, it's also the highest. Originally, it was the site of vast prehistoric lakes which evaporated 40,000 years ago to leave behind substantial mineral deposits. These comprise an estimated 11 billion tons of salt, some of which has been molded into exquisite hotels. The deposits also hold 50 to 70% of the world's lithium, an important metal used in laptop batteries. Salar de Uyuni is not the most accessible of places. However, its dynamic geography rewards visitors with different sites throughout the year. Many tour operators recommend visiting during the wet season between December and April, when floodwaters transform the landscape into a natural mirror. Those who arrive a little earlier may even spot the region's majestic flamingos, which speckle the landscape with pale pink throughout November. During the dry season, Salar de Uyuni's arid appearance generates some fantastic photo opportunities. Enthusiastic photographers use the region's uninterrupted flatness to play with perspective, making tiny toys seem like massive monsters and turning teaspoons into performance stages. These photographic souvenirs are one of a kind. After all, in ever-changing Salar de Uyuni, no two adventures are the same.
Okay, guys, this is our travel unit. It's one of my favorite units. That and eating, of course. I like food units. But we're going to a place down in South America, as Tom said. I haven't been there myself, but I've seen some pictures, and this place looks lovely. And I know that they have their own souvenirs that they make in Bolivia. They're quite pretty. They're hats. They're known for their fabrics as well, as I mentioned before the start. So here we are in Salar de Uyuni, and we're calling it a heavenly desolation, which is a really clever title. So desolation is a word that means different things depending on if you're a person or a place. If you're a person, you can have this feeling. It's a lot of unhappiness. You're hopeless. Oh, you just don't know how you're going to go on. But if you refer to a place as being desolate or desolation, desolate is the adjective form. It just means there's really nothing there. It's quite empty. It might have been destroyed through a war, or maybe there was a catastrophe like an earthquake and stuff and people had to leave. But it's a heavenly desolation, which means these two words are completely opposite. If it's heavenly, it's just beautiful and it's a perfect place for you to go. So I think it's a really clever title.
I do too,
Yeah.
and it might also be referring to the fact that this place is at a high elevation.
Yeah.
And when we think of heaven, we think of up, and hell is down.
Yes.
So yeah, it's very high. The elevation is quite high. The air is probably kind of thin, and you might get altitude sickness if you go there. But in any case, yes, this place is kind of out of the way. It's desolate, it's far away, and it will take you some time to get there. So hopefully you've got a lot of vacation time saved up. Now, here's what happens when you arrive there. You shield your eyes against the sun's glare as you step out of your Jeep. So here we've got the word shield, and the word shield can be both a verb and a noun. Here we're using it as a verb. That means you cover your eyes to protect them from the bright sunshine. Okay, you shield your eyes. You cover them to protect them. And if shield is a noun, it's usually a piece of metal that you will hold up in front of you if you're fighting against somebody with a sword. Maybe 300 or 400 years ago, you would carry this thing.
Captain America, the superhero,
that's right.
he has a shield.
He's got a shield. Yes,
Yeah.
he holds a shield. That's
Yes.
right. But again, as I said, this is being used as a verb here. You're protecting your eyes because the sun is really bright there. We're talking about the sun's glare. When it's really bright, it seems like it's not only coming from the sun, but it's also coming from the sky and the clouds. It's basically coming from everywhere, and it's excessive. There's a lot of it. So yes, the sun's glare. We often see the sun's glare reflecting off of windshields during the summer.
Yeah. I was thinking about snow skiing too. That's a place where you're surrounded by snow and light. There's a lot of reflection. And you can actually get a headache. The glare is so strong. So it's kind of like that feeling where you can't even open your eyes. It's so strong. So you've got to shield your eyes or cover them, protect them as you get out of your Jeep. Jeep is a car that is very fun to ride around in. I haven't seen many Jeeps in Taiwan. It's a small vehicle. It's a four-wheel drive. And a lot of times you'll see them driven in war movies because the military uses Jeeps a lot. My brother bought a Jeep, and we had a lot of fun in that. A lot of Jeeps don't even have a cover on them, but you're set with a fun car, your Jeeps, you're going on an adventure. And here is the sound effect word we've got here, crunch. We use this word a lot, don't we? If you like potato chips or really crispy things, when you eat them, they actually make that sound in your mouth, that crunchy sound. So there's a soft crunch from under your boots. So whatever you're walking on is quite noisy. And it confirms that you've arrived at your destination, which of course is Salar de Uyuni, which is hard for me to say.
There you go, indeed. Yeah, you'll feel a soft crunch when you step on snow also, which you don't get much of here in Taiwan. But in any case, this kind of tells you or lets you know, guarantees or confirms that you have arrived at your destination. Now, as you let your eyes adjust, a seemingly infinite white canvas stretches out in front of you. So yeah, your eyes need to adjust to the brightness of the sun there. So when you're used to the bright light, then what you see is this infinite white canvas. Canvas is usually a kind of cloth that is used for sails, but also for paintings. Artists will paint on a canvas, for example. So yeah, it's just a long, flat surface here, stretching out to the horizon.
Nice. You can also, ladies, sometimes buy a bag that's made out of canvas. It's sturdy and it's a great bag. It'll last you for a long time. So, yeah, you're going to look around you. It says here at a glance. So you're just taking a quick look. You might even mistake this landscape for the Arctic tundra. If you mistake something for something else, it means you get them confused. If any of you have ever had an experience hanging out with twins, you might have mistaken one twin for another, and then you realize as you talk to them, oh, wait, you're not Susie, you're Lori. I grew up with some twins and they were really identical. So you mistake one place or one person, one thing for something else. You confuse them. I've never been to the Arctic tundra. It's quite a ways away from us. Not many people have the chance to go, but it is very barren and very cold. So it sounds like, Tom, that when you first get out there on this salar, you might think you're walking on snow.
Yeah, you might think you're in the Arctic tundra.
Yeah.
Tundra, of course, is frozen land in the north where no trees can grow. So, yeah, they're very similar here, but you'd be forgiven. Most people would say, that's okay. A lot of people mistake this place for frozen Arctic tundra.
Right.
They're very similar, so you'd be forgiven. The barren beauty of Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia, would look out of place anywhere else. So yeah, in other words, this is a place that's unique in the world. It's one of a kind. You're not really going to find it anywhere else. It would look out of place in a different place. Out of place means like it doesn't belong there. When I first came to Taiwan, for example, I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't really belong here. These people are different. They're speaking a different language, and there's a lot more people here than what I'm used to. So yes, I feel like a fish out of water. I feel out of place.
Sometimes you will show up to a party or some sort of event and you're wearing the wrong clothes. Maybe you should have worn a suit and instead you show up in jeans. You're going to feel and also look out of place. This is probably a good time or place to take a break. We'll listen to our Chinese teacher and then we'll be back.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. 今天我们要看的是第8单元。这个单元呢，要带大家到一个很美丽的地方。我们今天要介绍的在玻利维亚。好，我们看玻利维亚这里有一个很美丽的地方，它是一个盐湖，它是 heavenly， 就像是一个遗世独立之境，它有一种荒芜之美。我们来看文章的内容。文章一开始呢，就想象你现在踏出吉普车，然后呢，你要遮着眼睛，要避开那个刺眼的阳光。我们先看 against 就是表示你要抵挡住什么。有时候会看到介系词 from， 像 protect somebody from doing something, from something， 或者是 against something， 都是这样的意思。那这边眼睛适应之后，如果你这样一看，可能当下会把这个地方误认为是北极的动员。好，我们看一下这一边的 might even mistake this landscape for the Arctic tundra。 这个地方 mistake 是一个动词，英文里面如果你用这个字当动词的话， mistake A for B， 也就是你把 A 误认为是 B， 所以他就说你很有可能在那当下一看，以为哇哦，我们难道来到北极了吗？其实他说这也可以理解的，因为这个地方它事实上是在玻利维亚，这个地方真的它有一种 barren beauty， 是一种荒芜之美，而且呢会感觉在其他地方这种美啊可能都不对，就是在这里 OK out of place， 在其他地方都显得格格不入。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, let's continue to talk about Salar de Uyuni. Let's take a look at the second paragraph here. Covering some 10,582 square kilometers, Salar de Uyuni is the world's largest salt flat, and at 3,656 meters above sea level, it's also the highest. So it's the largest salt flat with that area there, the square kilometers, and also at the elevation of 3,656 meters, it's the highest. It's that high above sea level.
Yeah, I think a lot of people from Taiwan, if you flew directly there, would have some difficulty breathing because your body's not used to having to work that hard. So you might want to prepare for that if you go. So this place is very high. It's the highest one in the world. It's also the largest salt flat. Like I said, I have seen a salt flat in Utah, which is the western part of the United States. So originally, it was the site of vast prehistoric lakes. Guys, when you see that word prehistoric, it means before history was being written down by people. So it was a long, long time ago. They were vast lakes, so they were quite big. And those lakes evaporated 40,000 years ago to leave behind substantial mineral deposits. If we have a lake or even a part of an ocean kind of evaporate where the water goes up into the sky, turns into a gas, you're often going to find some very interesting things that are left behind on the bottom of that lake or the bottom of the ocean or even river. And here, once those lakes evaporated, they had all these mineral deposits left behind, which are very valuable, actually.
Yep, lots of minerals there. So these comprise, you could say they contain, an estimated 11 billion tons of salt. That's a lot of salt, and some of this has been molded into exquisite hotels. They're probably tourist attractions down there in Bolivia. They take all that sand and they mold it. I guess they kind of melt it somehow and put it together, glue it together, and they make these hotels that aren't run-of-the-mill hotels. They are exquisite hotels. They're luxury hotels, and they're going to cost you some money. They're going to cost you a pretty penny. So that's what exquisite here means, kind of high class, kind of luxury.
Yeah, definitely expensive if you see that word exquisite. I wanted to just talk a little bit more about evaporate. If a liquid evaporates, it changes form. So it goes from a liquid form to a gas form. And because water used to be there but dried up or evaporated, then you have the deposits that were left behind. I have seen pictures of these hotels. They're really, really cool. You don't often see a hotel that's been molded out of salt. Look at how much salt there is, too. So the deposits that are left behind also hold 50 to 70% of the world's lithium, an important metal used in laptop batteries. Yeah, if you see that word lithium these days, the first thought that goes through my mind is, can I take it on my plane trip back to wherever? Because they're being very careful with these lithium batteries. Some of them just explode, so be careful. Check with your airline. That's my advice for today.
Yep, lithium is the third element after hydrogen and helium. So lithium is an important metal. It's kind of like a metal here, at least in chemistry, and it's used in batteries for laptops and smartphones and stuff like that. Now, moving on to the next paragraph here, it says, Salar de Uyuni is not the most accessible of places, which means it's hard to get to, basically. However, its dynamic geography rewards visitors with different sites throughout the year. So, yes, you'll probably have to make a sacrifice here. You can fly to South America probably through Los Angeles, and then somehow you get down to La Paz, Bolivia, and then maybe you take a bus somewhere, and it may be like a 12-hour bus ride or something like that. So, yes, indeed, it will be kind of difficult to get to this place, but you will be rewarded because it has this dynamic geography. Dynamic usually means there's a lot of different kind of geography there. Dynamic usually means things can change a lot.
So many of the tour operators, those are the people who own tour companies, touring companies, and operator. Operator here wouldn't mean the guide. It just means the company. So many tour operators recommend visiting during the wet season. Their wet season happens between December and April. Ours here in Taiwan, of course, is in the spring. And that's when the floodwaters transform the landscape into a natural mirror. So that would be quite spectacular. Those who arrive a little earlier may even spot the region's majestic flamingos. Flamingos are those beautiful, exotic birds that have very skinny legs, and you'll find them around water. They're pink. They're really quite interesting birds. They're quite tall, which speckle or dot the landscape. A speckle is similar to the word dot. Speckle the landscape with pale pink throughout November. So the best time to see those would be in the late fall time, yeah.
Their feathers, of course, are that kind of pale, light pink color, which is pretty cool to take pictures of.
Yeah.
Now, here in the final paragraph, it says, during the dry season, Salar de Uyuni's arid appearance generates some fantastic photo opportunities. Yes, we all like those photo opportunities when we travel, like, when people travel to Italy and when they go to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay, of course, they always want to take a picture that makes it look like they're holding it in their hand or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what you would do in Salar de Uyuni. You can do some interesting photographs there. It does give you some opportunities for some great photographs. So here it's arid, which means it's really, really dry, like deserts. They're arid. And also we've got the word generate here, which we most often use to talk about electricity. In some places in Taiwan, we've got these outdoor markets, and they don't have electricity there, so they bring along these generators to power their lights. Generator is the machine, but the verb is to generate electricity. And here, it creates or gives you lots of great photo opportunities.
It's interesting. It's very similar to, say, I think you were talking about Paris, how you can hold the Eiffel Tower in your hand. That's what it appears like. I know there's some cool photo opportunities, even with 101. I've seen people take some really cool pictures that have a different perspective. So in this region, because there's all this flatness, nothing's around it, you can play with perspective, making tiny or very small toys seem like massive monsters. And this one is the one I'd like to see, turning teaspoons, that's a very small spoon, into performance stages. Very, very interesting. So these photographic souvenirs are one of a kind. Nobody else will have them because you're taking them with your ideas in mind. I wanted to mention photo opportunities is often shortened to photo ops. Oh, it's a great place for photo ops. That's a photo op for you. So if you hear that, it's just a chance to take a photo.
We all need as many photo opportunities or photo ops as we can get.
Not me.
We've got to have our pictures posted on social media. We've got to have these chances all the time. You better have a camera with a small aperture here, though, because you are going to need some fairly decent bokeh. Oh, not bokeh, the opposite, depth of field. You're going to have the opposite of bokeh, but these are photographic terms, and I don't really have time to explain them now. But in other words here, we've got some great photo ops, and enthusiastic photographers use the uninterrupted flatness to play with perspective, which is how close something is, how far it is, and that's what perspective means.
How big or small it is as well. It's cool.
And so you can create some illusions here, making tiny toys look like monsters, teaspoons into stages. And these photographic souvenirs are one of a kind. People might just travel there just for that opportunity to take those pictures. So after all, in ever-changing Salar de Uyuni, no two adventures are the same. So it's probably really worth checking it out, and we certainly hope you go there. Don't worry, they probably speak English there. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. It's time now to listen to our Chinese teacher.
好，我们来继续介绍这个很漂亮的 Salar de Uyuni。那它这边说到，它其实是一个位置很高的一个地方。那它的起源，它的历史上说起来，它其实是一个 prehistoric lakes， 那是一个史前湖泊。好，后来当然湖水蒸发，就留下了什么？留下了 deposits。我们看这个字 deposits， 这个字。我们如果用作名词，有可能放在银行里，就是你的银行存款。但是不要忘记，像在这个地方指的就是沉积物。那这个沉积物呢，大概呢就构成了110亿吨的盐，而这些盐还可以呢把它做成旅馆。好，那最重要的，我们要看句构。句构里面，他提到这里有110亿吨的盐，然后后面逗点，接着写 some of which。 好，我们注意到在英文结构里面，逗点是很重要的，尤其是在谈所谓的关系子句。像这个地方，当然这个关系子句它有点不同，有逗点当然就是一个非限定用法，但是我们知道关系子句的非限定用法里有一个情况，就是像这样，你有一个不定代名词，像 some， 好，可能跟数量有关 ，some both all two， 甚至于讲 several， a few 都可以，这些数量的词都是一种不定代名词，然后后面呢再加 of。然后再加一个冠带，这个冠带当然像这里就是 which， 因为你指的是前面的那些盐，那这些盐当中有一些可以被雕塑成旅馆。好，句构特别注意，非限定用法与不定代名词跟冠带有关。我们再来看这个地方的资源最丰富的是锂，那这当然是跟电池制作的时候你需要的金属。在下一段就告诉大家，如果你要到这里来，要注意它并不是交通很方便的。 accessible 这个字，一个城市你说它 accessible 就是表示交通方便，那这个地方当然不是。后面还提到说这个地方它有一种像天然的镜子一般，所以你在这里真的会感觉是好像跟你平常的风景区完全不同的面貌，甚至于还可以看到什么呢？看到 flamingos， 这是红鹤。那最后这段就告诉大家，这个地方如果要去，他建议你应该是在 wet season， 可是如果你是在 dry season， 也就是干季的时候去的时候呢，那当然又是另外一种风貌了。这个下面一段就提到它的风貌是什么？ uninterrupted flatness， 这个 uninterrupted 没有被打扰，那就是一直不断连续的一片那种平坦的特性，让你可以拍出非常漂亮的照片。当然你要来这里拍照是理所当然，而且可以当做你的摄影纪念品，这可是 one of a kind。 注意到这个片语 one of a kind 就是独一无二的。好，我们今天讲解就到这边，我们下次见。
Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and please join us again next time for another interesting program. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.